How many guys watched the match last night? How many of you think ee sala cup namde? No? All right. So let me start by telling you guys about myself. I'm a Bangalorean, basically, and I support RCB always. And I have over 20 years of experience, been working in multiple industries, multiple companies. These are some of the companies that I have worked in. I have worked in India, US, Germany, and different countries. And this is my educational background. So I studied in Bangalore University around 20 years ago, and MBA from Florida Atlantic University. Now, where I work. Currently, I work for Rakuten. I don't know how many of you know Rakuten, but it's a Japanese company, which started as an e-commerce company, but then moved into fintech, media, communications, and many more services and solutions. This is one of the most unique companies which has not just one or two products, but close to 70 plus different products and services. They're not just in technology, but they are in energy, they are in mobile network, they're also in agriculture. So very unique company with diversified products and services. Rakuten India started around like 5 years ago, and this is the second largest development center for Rakuten outside Japan. So we are basically building this company starting from 150 people 3 years ago to 500 now, and we are going to be around like 2,000 people going forward. So the growth is not about hiring people, but it's the technology and the innovation that we are going to take on. And as you can see, Rakuten is not a very well-known name in India, but FCB is very well known in India. So we are the official sponsors of this sports club. Now, the topic that I picked today is future of mobile technology. Predicting the future is extremely difficult. We don't know what's going to happen next month or next year, but what we can see is a trend or the trends that are taking us in a particular direction. There will be multiple trends or multiple things that are happening. You as a developer, I as somebody running a company, we have to pick and choose which is best for the company as well as individuals. Now, as you can see here, it's kind of surprising that more people will have mobile phones with them than people having electricity, or people having water, or people having any other basic necessities. Mobile phone is going to become the most used utility in the world. And if you look at it, the increase in the data usage, the increase in the bandwidth utilization is exponential. And this is not going to come down. This is going to keep on increasing. Now, this is the focus that we should be having going forward. And this is the reason I picked the topic, future of mobile technology. Now, I will basically talk about three different things here. One is the mobile applications, mobile devices, and mobile network. These are the key components of mobile technology. And most of us think that mobile industry is mobile applications, but it's not just that. We need to know about all these three verticals, what's going on. Now, what I'll talk about is not the tools or the in-depth technological details, because you guys can basically go on Google and search for anything and find the details. If there is a skill, you can learn. But what I want to talk to you about is what are the trends that are taking us to the future. So I will tell you what I think about each of these verticals, and I'll pick one company that I think is doing something innovative in this area, and then I'll give you the trends that we have done research on, and I'll share my thoughts with you guys. Now, before I start, right, how many of you are from Bangalore? Great. So, if you think about it, right, we as individuals, our efficiency is extremely important. The productivity of us is extremely important. So, me as a person, right, I consider myself as somebody like anybody But what's unique about me is my knowledge. What can I do with my knowledge and with my skills? That's very, very important. Now, every day, I basically wake up and I know what I'm supposed to do. And I have to go to work and I have to build something, I have to have meetings. I'm trying to create some things, right? But you know what's going to block me? Traffic, right? See, when you spend 1 hour in traffic, going and coming back 1 hour in traffic, right? Your mind gets basically upset. Your productivity drastically goes down. So imagine you driving or taking a cab or taking a rickshaw or something with all this chaos, all this chaotic stuff that happens on the road, and then you go to the office, what do you have left? You won't be able to focus. And I compare this with the mobile technology. We are like devices. The mobile applications are basically apps, or the knowledge or the skill that the device has. And the mobile network is like the traffic. All these three things should be efficient, and they must work very well together to be a better future. And right now, we have issues in all these areas, especially the mobile network. So let me start with mobile applications, right? So when I started doing some research on what I should be presenting, I thought, should I go basically deep into technical details of building some mobile applications? Should I talk about TensorFlow? Should I talk about AMP? Should I talk about hybrid applications? But I realized that all those things as developers, everyone is doing research on Google. They are trying to figure out what are the new tools, what are the new libraries. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. So like I said, right, if you do some search online, you can find all these things, and you can go in depth in all these technologies. But what I really want to talk about is, what are the consumer needs in the three areas that I'm going to talk about: mobile applications, mobile devices, and mobile network, because this is what is going to decide the future. Now, if you can see this one, right? Fast entertainment and communication. Pretty simple. But this is not it, because everyone knows. If I ask anybody, even on the street, if you ask a taxi driver, he will tell you, I want my internet to be fast, I want the applications to be entertaining, a lot of videos. But what's going on is determined by large corporations which are collecting all the data. Now, companies like Google, Rakuten, Facebook, WhatsApp, they are collecting tons of data, and they basically determine what is going to be the future. Now, these are the 4 things that we all should pay attention as developers. Because when you do development, right, you're going to design, you're going to assess the requirements, you're going to analyze them, you're going to design, you're going to code, and you're going to test it. So when you do it, you have to build an application, or you have to build software that is scalable, flexible, and highly efficient. For that, you need to know what's the future of the application that you're going to build. If the application is only going to provide e-commerce solution, right? You just build e-commerce solution. But if the future requires the application to provide a messaging service within your application, or a payment solution within your application, you have to design the application in such a way. So all-in-one applications are going to be the future. Right now we have millions of applications offering unique solutions. But what we need, what we are heading towards, is an ecosystem of services within one application. I, as a user, I want to log in, and I should be able to do anything I want with one application. Now, that sounds pretty big, right? That's pretty huge. You might think that the application size would be more, or the performance of the application could be at loss, right? But that's where the developers come into picture. How do you design an application that contains all these features? Extremely important. Now, convenience is very important, because how convenient is it for me to use the application? And the next one is also very important, sufficient, right? If you give too much, it's a problem, because people get bored. So you have to make sure that the application is convenient as well as only has sufficient features that is required for consumers. So these are the things that you have to think as a developer. The product managers or the business folks, they'll come and tell you what do they need, but when you design the application, you have to design considering all these factors. Now, the third one is the beneficial, right? Now, people don't want to use applications for free. As you can see, a lot of applications, right, they offer rewards. So this is going to be something that becomes extremely crucial for consumers in the future. Now, I want to pick one company, which is basically, I'm being partial here. Rakuten is a company which has 70 plus different products and services. Now, this is an example that I'm giving you. And this company is in e-commerce, fintech, Rakuten Card, media and communications, and now they're building a mobile network, and they're into travel, they are into marriages, they are into agriculture. You name a business, they are in everything. Now they are trying to basically consolidate everything because users are in all the different applications. How do you integrate all these users with one membership, collect all the data, and then provide the services in the most efficient manner? Now, this is not an easy task. Now, this is something that I am going through on a daily basis. I'm involved in the architecture and design of this particular application where we are deciding how do we build a most efficient application that can offer all these services and still be fast, efficient. So as developers, you have to know the future trends to understand and design the applications or any software that you are going to write most efficiently. Now, what are the trends? Right? The mobile application trends, they are changing, every quarter or every year. But over the next 2 to 3 years, what I think and what we think based on our research is consolidated applications. The applications are not going to be e-commerce application. They're not going to be a payment application. They are going to be personal assistants. Because when I open the application, right, I don't want to close it and go to a different application and make a payment or send a message. I want it to be consolidated. Now, guys, everything that I'm going to tell you in these trends, right, this is the most important thing because this is what you have to think when you build your software. Now, AI and ML embedded into the mobile applications. I know there is a session on TensorFlow, and maybe you must have read about Google I/O or many Apple's I/O libraries and stuff like that. But these micro libraries with AI and ML capability, they're extremely important because users want a lot of things to be done on their mobile applications because of speed. They want things to happen very quickly, extremely quickly. For that one, you need AI and ML on the application, not in the backend. Right now, we have all the AI and ML capability in the backend servers. But by the time the message or your request goes to the server and comes back, consider the latency and consider the network that we have, it might take some time. Now, the attention span of many people now has come down to almost like 5 seconds, 3 seconds. So with these libraries embedded into mobile applications, things will get faster. Now, image, voice, and video recognition. You all know that's the future, right? It's already happening. But there is one more thing, gesture recognition. Extremely important, especially with virtual reality and augmented reality things coming up and security becoming more and more important. Gesture recognition becomes extremely important. Now, this is something new that few companies have started working on it, but the future looks extremely crucial for this. Image is already done, voice is going on right now, video is in the budding stages, but gesture is something that's going to take off. Hybrid applications. Now, as developers, right, you don't want to be building multiple applications. I think this is already there. I mean, you have a lot of different technologies where you can build applications and deploy it in multiple platforms. IoT and wearable applications, very crucial. We think that the most of the mobile applications are only on our phones or tablets. That's not it. You have to think about IoT and wearable applications. Augmented and virtual reality applications. Now, there are companies who are already working on these things. They are building teams. They are building research teams to work on these things, including Rakuten. As a CEO of the company, I'm responsible to basically think what can happen in the next 1 year or 2 years, and I'm supposed to hire people, I'm supposed to train them, and I'm supposed to have them work on those technologies. And I'm doing this right now. I have a team of 6 or 7 engineers in multiple technologies working, and we call them as agile teams. So we call them as agile teams. We tell them, hey, this is the trend that's going on. Why don't you go and create a POC or come up with something and tell me how this works. So the next category is the mobile devices. So in mobile devices, right, they basically come in all shapes and forms. I mean, the moment we think of mobile devices is phones, right? But that's not it. We have a lot of wearable devices that are coming up right now. And people are investing and buying stuff like crazy. But what is going to drive these mobile devices to the future is the IoT. Now, as you can see, it's not just the devices that you carry along with you or you wear along with you. The mobile devices that they are considering for IoT are the devices that may be sitting in one place, but they're communicating with all the other mobile devices. For example, it could be a refrigerator. It could be anything in your home, and if it is communicating with your mobile phone, that is an IoT device. So one of the companies that I really like about these mobile devices is Samsung. So Samsung is not just in mobile device, but they are into everything. I'm sure you guys must have seen, right? If you go to any electronic store in India or anywhere, they have devices everywhere. And Samsung is one company I think is basically IoT ready. Even when you compare to Apple or Google or any other company, Samsung is the company that I feel that it is IoT ready, and they're going to create a major revolution in IoT. Now, what are the trends in mobile devices, right? Now, I don't know how many of you are working in hardware division, but this is also extremely crucial. The mobile devices will be designed and built as personal assistants, just like we are going to build mobile applications for, as personal assistants. So they have to be sleek and extremely convenient. Now, you all might wonder, what about the cost, right? People don't care about cost. Okay, the future is going to be where cost is not going to be an issue. People paying $500 or 50,000 rupees or 80,000 rupees or 1 lakh to buy a device, that's going to be their personal assistant. They're going to invest it. So the market is going to grow for sleek and convenient devices where cost is not an issue. Now, highly efficient, I think this is something that you all know, where Apple or Google or Samsung, they're making tremendous improvement in CPU, memory, and battery utilization, and how it can be integrated and worked with other devices as well. And again, less is more. They need to be wireless and they need to be weightless. This is something that is extremely crucial and IoT ready. IoT is going to be something extremely important in the next few years. Now let me go to the next, and these are the companies which I think are going to make a major change or major difference in mobile device technology. Now, the mobile network, right? I want to show you the evolution of mobile network. Now, these 3 categories I spoke about, mobile applications, mobile devices, and mobile network. Mobile applications, the evolution is happening every quarter. You see different applications and you see different things happening in applications every quarter. You see something new. Mobile devices, you see changes every year. Every year they bring in new devices and everything. But mobile network, if you look at it, right, the changes are every decade. And the reason is they are extremely expensive. there is a very slow evolution compared to all the other, areas of technology. But the problem is this one, right? If you don't have a good network, everything else basically crumbles down. And right now we are okay with 4G, the speed is okay. But going forward with virtual reality or high definition video, which require a lot of bandwidth, you need high speed network and most efficient network in the backend. Because as I said, the bandwidth requirement and the bandwidth utilization and data requirement is exponentially growing. So unless you have a very good network, it's going to be like Bangalore traffic. So 5G revolution is coming, guys. 5G revolution is happening everywhere, and this is going to be the future for the next several years. Now, a lot of companies are working on this one right now. Technologies that are basically forcing this 5G revolution is IoT, artificial intelligence, high resolution video, autonomous driving, smart cities, virtual reality, gaming. If you see everybody in taxi, right, if they're not driving, they're watching videos. And with high definition videos, things get more and more difficult. So we need extremely good network. Now, there are very few companies working on this one, right, because it's extremely expensive. It requires billions of dollars of investment. And again, Rakuten is basically building a network in Japan. They're trying this in Japan, and they are building the first end-to-end, world's first end-to-end cloud-native software-based telecom network. This is the first time that's happening in the world. Now, this is extremely crucial because when you make it software-based telecom network, the change can happen very quickly because you just have to go and change the software. Just like mobile applications, it's like a software upgrade, right? So this is the network that is going to change the way networks are built. And it is completely software enabled so that the changes can happen extremely quickly. Now, one of the crucial things that they are using is mobile edge computing technology, where they are inserting edge technology between multiple components of mobile network, which does a lot of artificial intelligence or processing and stuff like that to give quick responses to users. So the latency they are going to reduce to almost zero. Now again, what's the trend, right? We know that speed and affordability is extremely important when you actually register to any company, right? Airtel, Vodafone, AT&T, they all have their own network and you pay them. The key is how less I'm going to pay. So the trend is basically cloud, virtualization, and software-centric network, because this is what going to fuel quicker revolution in mobile network. And again, cyber and network security is, especially when you have a network, right? Security is extremely important, and automation. So again, I don't know how many of you are into network, but cyber security and automation is going to be extremely crucial. And some of the companies that are investing a lot of money in this technology are these companies. So having said that, guys, when I studied in a very small school, in a very small village here, and I did not know I was going to be the VP or the COO of the company, right? So because I didn't know the future. But what I did was, I found the trends, which direction I need to go. And I just worked hard in that direction. And when I found the trends, right, I got committed. I was very committed. So future, even though the topic is future of technology, mobile technology, we don't know. But if we know the trends, and if we go in that direction, we get to make the future. Like I said, whether it's the all-in-one applications or personal assistants or anything, right? We are forming teams in our company to work on multiple different things. So if we succeed, we are going to be defining the future. Okay? So thank you for listening, and you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for that. Of course, if you have questions, I'm sure. If you have questions, we have a few minutes. Anyways, it's lunch. So you can raise your hands and we have some mics placed in the aisles.
If you ask me where is the lunch, where's the lunch? If that's the question, you may have to go downstairs or something. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Cool, guys.
But of course, if you have any questions for Narendra, I'm sure he'll be happy to.
Okay. I'll be around here, guys. And there is a Rakuten booth outside. You guys can come and talk to me anytime you want.
Can you approach the mic there?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
You are talking about cost regarding when you are talking about the devices that will be driving the future economy or future. So, was that a generic trend that you had analyzed in your researches, or it was based on region? Because why I am talking is most of the earlier trends suggested that what runs outside the world doesn't work in India.
Yeah.
So talking about India specific, I wanted to ask that whether that trend was also was relevant to India also. That cost is not a factor while going into these solutions.
Yeah. Okay. The research that we did was global perspective, right? But if you do consider India, because of the population, we have almost like 600 to 700 million people using mobile devices, right? There will be we think that there will be like a 50-50, where people in cities and suburban places, they don't mind paying 30,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees, but another 50% will definitely go with the cost, because they may not be using the phones for a lot of features that they are really needed. They probably will use, for example, right, if you go to villages or if you go to any small towns, they don't use Google Maps. They don't use a lot of things. They only watch videos or they probably send messages. So the usage is very limited. For them, maybe cost is one of the important things. But otherwise, people, we are seeing that a lot of people buying expensive phones.
Phones was not an issue, but the network actually.
Yeah.
So after the Geo came into picture, this burst came, all the devices with the Geo phone, all the economic things that the company did, Reliance in specific, they did. Yeah. So I felt that because of the cost, these things have been more accessible to more people. Not only the elite class might be maybe 1% or 2%, but talking about the vast majority in India terms, I feel that cost is a deciding factor here.
You're absolutely right. Actually, I was talking about the devices, but from network perspective, you're absolutely right, because people don't want to pay for using a network. Now that's why Jio kind of revolutionized the network systems in India, right? They reduced the cost so much. And that is exactly what these virtual cloud-based software-centric networks are going to do. Now in Japan, right now, people pay like $100 or $80 per month for any mobile service. Now with Rakuten doing this basically new network, right? They're going to bring it down to $20. $20 to $30. You're absolutely right. The service fee is extremely going to be cheap.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Basically creating a virtual network which is based majorly on cloud. Okay, won't we be creating a chicken egg problem? To get faster internet, we need to connect to internet. So don't you think it will be like a chicken egg, whether chicken first came or egg first came? That's gonna be similar problem, I think so.
Okay. Now, whether it's chicken or egg problem, right? At the end of the day, if the consumers are getting low cost but very low latency service, they'll be happy. Now, to answer your question, right? That's where our mobile edge technology is coming into picture, where we are going to insert them in between different components to make it more user friendly and faster, so that the chicken and egg problem that you're talking about won't be there. Okay. All right, guys. Have fun and have a good lunch and have a wonderful day.